This isn't Britain in the 1930s. It's Merseyside 1985, 40 years on from the birth of the welfare state. Adults and children scavenge for survival on the council rubbish tip. In the streets around the tip, 1 in every 2 men is unemployed. Is this the only future some of our children can look forward to? This film focuses on 3 very different young people, all trapped by their circumstances and desperate to escape, with the state seemingly unable or unwilling to help. Bradford. Glenn Dryden is looking for work. He's been unemployed for 3 years.
Hello.
No.
You got any vacancies, do you know?
No, we haven't got it. Try next door, Pedro.
Where's that?
From there, near
Just up the road. OK, thanks anyway. Bye. Ta-ra. Some mornings I'll say, all right, I'm off. I'll see you in about 3 to 4 hours. And I go round this area, see, going again to the various mills. And, I mean, even where you get the mill and it has a sign up that'll say no vacancies, I ignore that and just go in and ask anyway. And there is a hell of a lot of trailing about, you know. I have a lot of footwork. No, I'm making inquiries as to whether you've any vacancies available.
What type of job are you looking for?
Basically anything, general labour, out like that, you know.
Well, at the moment I've nothing.
No.
But if you'd like to leave your name and address.
Yes, yeah. On the whole, I find it better to go sort of door to door, and I know there's only me and there ain't a load more following me in. Like within this area of 3 mile or so, there is quite a few mills that are still up. And you just go door to door, and I've left my name and address and stuff like that. And some do have the decency to write back, some don't even bother.
Hello?
Oh dear. I'm inquiring as to whether you've any vacancies available.
Can I have your name, please?
Mr. Dryden. When I left school, you could then actually pick what job you wanted, in the sense of there was that many mills then had vacancies. You know, you could walk out of a job next week and go into one. But now, it's the situation reversed. If you've got a job, if you've any sense, you'll stick at it, because there isn't any out there. You know, you can't just walk in and out of them now, like you could do at one time. So, if it's black now, I'd hate to think that it's going to be out another 15 to 20 years. When, say 16 years, when my youngest is old enough to go out to work. All I can hope is that he's brainy enough and maybe going into... Because I think the trend now is all these microchips and computers. Hopefully he'll be brainy enough to go into something like that. Not like his daft dad, you know, labourer's mate. He wants some bread, dear.
The diet for Glenn, his wife Jean and their 3 children is mainly things like beans and fish fingers.
Saturday?
Yeah.
Where's it in? Oh.
At church.
Oh, at the church, yeah. As long as we know where we're going. As long as there's the food there, it doesn't necessarily matter that there's no money actually in his pockets or whatever. But as long as ourselves and the kiddies have something to eat, that is the main thing you've got to look at. And you bet that one you can have another one, eh? Like a sandwich, that's it. You know, luxuries like bus fares and stuff like that, you just disregard them altogether. As long as there's enough meals to last till the next money comes in, that is basically what you've got to do, you know. So that at the end of the day, no matter how much as young uns feel that they do without this, that and the other as regards footballs or toys or clothes or whatever, as long as there's food in the belly, that's all we look for.
Dropped out.
Tell you the word.
Grandad, do you know where the sugar is? It's not on the...
Yes, in here.
At 18, Tony Evans feels as trapped as Glenn, but for very different reasons. He lives at Chippenham, Wiltshire, in his 92-year-old grandfather's house.
Tidied up and squared up, am I?
But his main responsibility is looking after his disabled parents. His father suffers from ulcerated feet and recently from TB of the spine. His mother has multiple sclerosis.
You first? No, you don't want milk with it, do you?
Yeah, just
Like most 18-year-olds, Tony would like to escape and become more independent, but his conscience won't let him.
Thank you very much.
OK, I'll get Dad's later.
In a way, it's all my own making, because I feel that it should be my responsibility to do it anyway. I shouldn't feel particularly put upon, but my mind is ticking over all the time. I mean, even when I'm doing things for my parents, I'm thinking and trying to reason out, you know, I shouldn't be doing this, but I should, it's my duty. You know, it's all this kind of feelings. And I end up in a parental world, my parents in a sort of child world, that's the thing which really hits me, as responsibility, which I don't like, and the pressure. It's more like being a nurse, really, than being a son. Certainly, at times I've felt detached when I've had to do things for them which I shouldn't have had to do, like carry them through the toilet, and occasionally, if they haven't been able to make it to the toilet, clear it up for them. I mean, that kind of thing is not the thing which kids should have to do. Or, I mean, not kids, but anybody who's a relation, really. It's not what you think about doing as a son. So I try and love them as much as I can, and of course I do, and they love me. And we obviously have moments of happiness, and we enjoy each other's company. But those moments aren't as frequent as perhaps they should be. Or I feel they should be, you know.
For 4 years now, he's been lent on by us all. So it's been very grim. He feels that he's not had a fair shake of the dice because he was not free to go off and meet friends. Or if he did, he felt guilty or worried about what he'd find when he got home. All in all, it's been a very, very grim time for everybody.
But Tony feels he can't escape until the social services replace the support he gives his parents. They seem unable or unwilling to do this. What does Tony think about their help so far?
You have to do a hell of a lot of pushing, more than it should be necessary, because people are ill, they can't help being ill. And you feel as if you're almost a criminal because you can't sort of get out of bed in the morning because your legs won't work, or you have suppurating ulcers on your feet. I mean, you're made to feel as if you know, you're doing something wrong. I'm grateful for what has happened so far, but it's a certain embittered gratefulness which I have for the fact that it's taken so long and my parents have had to go through so much agony due to their neglect and generally sort of totally impersonal, impassionate, lacking of any regard for human feelings, you know.
Like Tony, Julie Goddard is 18, but she's already left home and lives with her son in a Battersea council flat. The flat's so cold, they sleep, eat and live in one room. It's already taken Wandsworth Council 6 weeks to install a water heater and 5 months to fix a stinking waste pipe. But the radiators still don't work and some windows don't shut, and it's midwinter. On her £32 a week supplementary benefit, Julie just can't afford to furnish or heat by electric fire the rest of the place.
Well, this is meant to be Lawrence's room, but this wallpaper is coming down. And this carpet, I got this from the dustbin. Yeah, this is meant to be my bedroom. And I can't stay in it anyway because of the windows. These windows don't shut, no. I'm not strong enough to shut them. And this carpet here, my brother's got from the dustbin. And these chairs, my mate gave me them. That's got a settee with it, she gave me that as well. And dressing table.
So overall, why don't you stay in here?
Because I can't afford to furnish it, plus the windows, it's so cold. So I just stay in that room where the baby is, so.
To keep warm, Julie wears several pullovers and spends hours, even days, in bed.
The differences between churches, between people, melt away when we turn in confidence to our Father and realise we're all his children. We'd like to reach out our hands and our hearts from this church in Crawley to all of you who are watching and listening and perhaps singing along with us.
Glenn is one of 50,000 people in Bradford on supplementary benefit. The local council says 18% of Bradford is unemployed. Life expectancy of Bradfordians is 2 years less than the national average. Like scores of others on his estate, Glenn's underfloor heating in his council flat is so expensive he's in debt to the electricity board. So Glenn waits for hours at the DHSS trying to get special needs payments for household items and clothes. Once fuel costs are deducted at source, Glenn's weekly benefit is £34.50 to feed and clothe his wife and 3 children. That's 98 pence a day each, so every penny counts.
We trail hail, rain, snow, blow, not for our benefit, in the sense that we're saving anything, but to go to Shoppers Paradise in Bradford, we could save up to £2 to £3 on an average grocery bill, that being a week to 6 to 7 days or whatever. But the point is, it isn't necessarily convenient for us, but it's well worth the trip down to get it. They do a lot of yellow label stuff, which is their own brand. And I mean, when a packet says cream crackers, that's what it is. It doesn't necessarily have to be Jacobs or Crawford's or out like that. It's just cream crackers. From here to Shoppers is roughly 2 mile and 2 mile back, so you're doing 4 mile in all. It's harder coming back because it's all uphill, plus you've got the weight at back it as well. Because you're going down with an empty bag and you come back with it, you know. But you see, this is how you have to do it. We've gone past various supermarkets and they come rolling out these big trolleys at Morrison's and such places now. These are them that work. There must be, because they're certainly not on the DHSS. And they come in with these big trolleys and they're piling the boat up. And we think, my God, it must have cost them something in there. You know, and we have to go and do it in dribs and drabs, basically, you know, just to get through so many days.
What would you say if people said that that you were a scrounger?
Well, all I could say to them is, more so, if they have a job and what have you, is, you know, think you're unlucky because they don't know the half of it. Where they get this impression that life on the dole means sitting about all day, smoking your head off and getting blind drunk and this, I don't know of it, because I haven't seen any and I can't do it. But if anybody wants to swap places with me, they can have it. And take the responsibility of wife and 3 kids with a mere, when you break it down to weekly terms, of £34.50. I know mates of mine that pay more in tax than what I get to keep this house going.
By God, I hope I am. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I'm the Queen of England's man. I'm wearing a coat. I know a book backwards.
Tony has an escape route. He wants to be an actor.
I hear the sergeant a lying.
He's been auditioned at several drama schools, without luck so far. But he's still waiting to hear from one more, the Webber Douglas School in London.
Salute it in the morning. Can you hold it down at dark?
But if he's successful, he's worried about how his parents will manage.
I still think they'd manage for a while, and then it would probably fall apart, and they'd have to pull in social services, and something horrible would happen, no doubt. But that's what has to happen before anything will be, you know, done. It's all kind of after the accident has happened, as opposed to preventing it, if you know what I mean. But I think that they would want me to go on, push on as far as I can, and they back me up all the time. They never ever try to put me off going to an audition. You know, even if it means I have to send off my whole week's money, dole money, for an audition, they say, go on, do it. If that's what you want to do, you know, do it. That's what you've got to do. So they back me up a lot. I'm very loved of them for that.
Come now.
Julie can only afford to heat water for Lawrence to bath once a week. In mid-November, she asked the DHSS for a fire guard and extra heating. In January, nearly 2 months later, the DHSS visited and promised to help. This morning, 8 cold winter weeks since her application, The letter about the fireguard and extra heating has arrived.
No, this is for fireguard and draft proofing. And there's 15 for the fireguard and draft proofing for £6.50. That's what the Social Security sent me.
How would you sum up your feelings about that letter?
Well, for £22 just for fireguard and the whole house draft proofed. They must think I live in a tent or something to send that.
Oh, well. What belong to him and get your new ones? School grant comes through, eh? Now, my eldest lad, he gets a school grant, so he's lucky. And he comes home from school, etc., and he takes his school clothes off and he puts his plain out clothes on. That way, keeping the grant up to as near perfect as we can for them 12 months that he's allowed it. Admittedly, as it gets to the back end, it is getting a bit shiny in the pants and the shoes and all in, but there's nothing we can do about that. Again, as Christmas comes nearer, you get a lot of your jumble sales. You say, well, first thing you go for when it gets that near is if there's any toys or teddies or stuff like that. So that's how you go. They don't know. They're no wiser where they come from, you know.
Little lads. What do you want?
Little lads mainly. His age.
Where's some little jeans?
Are there?
Little jeans.
Ah. Yeah. Yeah, I love those as well. Most people, it's probably their happiest time of the year is Christmas. To us, it's the worst. We dread it. Because, you know, I mean, television as it is, you know, your toys and stuff coming on all the time, and the kiddies are bringing Christmas cards home from school, and they want this, that, and you can't do it. How much of them, look? Yeah. Charlie, thanks.
The responsibility he's had for his parents, off and on since the age of 14, is grinding Tony down. How's he coping with the pressure?
I've coped with it by crying at night, hitting things with my hands and getting cut knuckles. Haven't hit anybody yet, but I no doubt that will come at some point in the future. I don't want it to happen, but it probably will if things go on like they are now. I don't know, that's it. It's sort of thumping pillows and a lot of crying and reading of books to try and get one's mind and attention away from what's going on, and attempting to live in a fantasy world of those books, if you know what I mean.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks a lot, bye.
But the reality is that Tony is trapped at home. Wiltshire's spending on social services is even below the average for shire counties. Their reluctance to give Tony support or agree to replace him if he gets to drama school has brought all his fears to a head.
I can't stand it any longer. I have had enough. I don't want to go, but I want to go. And I know that I must go, because if I stay here, I'm going to be dead. Last night, I had 13 sleeping tablets in my hand. I was thinking about it, I was talking about it, and I ain't got enough guts to do it. But if it goes on, I will have enough guts, and I'm going to be dead, and there's going to be lots of nice people saying, gosh, wasn't it horrible?
It was
terrible?
terrifyingly bad, and I haven't got over it at all yet.
Yeah, well, neither have I. That's me talking. It wasn't anything else. That was nice little homie Tony Evans, the chap which put on a smile for everybody else. And can't put on a smile for his own age group because he's so fucking alone.
We will have to try harder than ever to find a way.
Really? Oh,
well,
4 or 5
last night
years,
I was absolutely 100% sure there had to be a different way.
Yeah, and I was
And
absolutely
I was
100% sure there isn't, and I still
under colossal
am.
pressure,
I've
my
been
lad.
trying for 4 years to get out and do something. Sure, I've been looking after you, but I've been always on the make, if you like, trying to think of how a way I could get out of this bloody place. even for just 10 minutes. I enjoy going out to do all the bloody shopping. I enjoy it. Even though I do occasionally see some nice, happy young 18-year-olds wandering along with their carefree lives. That's a bit painful, but I don't mind. Why shouldn't they? Why should I stop anybody else's enjoyment? What should I do for them?
Helped by her friend Tina, Julie's decided to squat. Despite the £6.50 draft proofing, her flat is unbearably cold. She's afraid of her baby suffering from hypothermia. The radiators still don't work, and some windows still won't close.
It's more warmer in that house than it is in there.
Flat 15 opposite is temptingly vacant and properly heated.
You can feel the difference, can't you? It's more warmer in there. Go on then. One night. Stick it into the problem.
Yes! 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 Mom! Oh, yes! I've been accepted! Yes!
Oh my God! Oh my, it's terrific.
9th, yes.
Oh,
9th, 85,
true.
yes, yes. I've been accepted.
What?
I've been accepted by the drama school.
Good.
After all.
Good, that's jolly fine. I'm very glad to hear it. And I sincerely hope that you'll have a rewarding time up there.
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
My word.
Oh, God.
I can't wait to see you in a black leotard.
The jock strap as well.
And a black practice skirt. It says
That's for the women. That's for the
Oh,
women.
well, I'm glad to hear that. I'd heard no rules at all at Rubber.
Thank you, Dad.
The flat next door is much warmer, but Julie is determined to play things by the book. Next day, she goes to tell the Wandsworth Housing Department that she's moved into flat 15 as a squatter.
What did they tell you in there, Julie?
Well, they said that if I don't get a number 15 and go back in number 16, they're going to take number 15 off me and number 16, and I won't have nowhere to live. Then after, when I was in hysterics, he said he's coming up tomorrow morning at 10:30 to see what he's doing, and he said he's going to do it because it's an emergency.
When you say you were in hysterics, what do you mean?
I was crying, I was bashing my fist on the table. I even ripped the paper from his hand.
So what was he threatening to do?
It was threatening to take me out number 15, and if I don't go in back number 16, they're going to take both of them off of me, and I won't have nowhere to live.
I mean, they'll make you homeless, in other words.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's terrible anyway, because if anything happened to Lawrence, I would die, I really would.
Sounds as if he's going to try and come and sort it out.
After Tony left, his mother's health improved, but social services soon withdrew social work support. Now Tony's parents cope virtually alone, and there's still a big question mark over their future. Glenn is a regular customer for one of Bradford's booming retail businesses, shops selling yesterday's bread at half price. Unlike Tony, Glenn has little chance of escape. His job prospects are slim. What kind of future can he and his children expect? 2 weeks ago on this tip, a boy was critically injured when he was crushed under a refuse lorry. Darren Smith is still in hospital, fighting for his life. He's 10 years old.